Hello, everybody. Welcome in. We have episode 10 today. And my first question is, have you ever heard about using vitamin D for psoriasis? First off, what is psoriasis?
Psoriasis is an autoimmune condition wherein the person's own immune system is attacking skin tissues. And as such, like all autoimmune conditions, they're elusive. Medicine doesn't have a heck of a lot to offer for them, except immunosuppressant drugs, which ultimately is the direction that most people have to go. Yeah. So looking for things that can help in a less invasive way, more natural way, is in this instance kind of important.
Yeah, and so vitamin D is beneficial to it how?
Well, vitamin D has long been known as one of the skin nutrients.
Okay.
And
that's the thing you smell when you lay in the sun.
Yeah, and you lay out in the sun, and you if you smell your arm, it has that sort of sweet smell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's vitamin D being produced by skin cells. And so a lot of people don't go out in the sun anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've been taught to be afraid of it because, skin cancer and all these other things that people choose to worry about. And so supplementing with vitamin D can oftentimes be helpful, especially in conjunction with vitamin C, vitamin A, and magnesium.
So there are cofactors that help it.
Very definitely.
For absorption. And what about, how do you think vitamin D holds up to, let's say, the topical ointments that are prescribed to people with psoriasis?
Well, it's a different approach, certainly. And it depends on
Can you do them both at the same time?
Absolutely. And it really depends on the severity of the problem and the extent to which the immune system is over-responding. But, vitamin D may or may not be able to solve your problem. But if it can help, then obviously a combination of things is an ideal approach.
And so you just named the other nutrients that go along with vitamin D. So it's vitamin C,
vitamin A, and magnesium. And then you would always recommend taking all of that with a full spectrum supplement like high vitality liquid from Phoenix Nutritionals or high vitality capsules, because you don't want to just fragment nutrition. Exactly. If you take high doses of magnesium, for example, it's going to deplete calcium.
Yeah.
So everything has a counter in nature and in the human body. And the biochemistry of the human body has an amazing ability to juggle and regulate and learn to do without this and not enough that. But there's a point where it can't do that effectively. Yeah. So taking a full spectrum supplement solves that whole problem automatically.
Nice. And so what is the ideal dose of vitamin D if someone's looking into this as a alternative and they talk to their doctor about it?
Yeah, I would say to begin with somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 IUs.
Okay. Is that like throughout the day or all at once?
Yeah, well, because vitamin D is water soluble.
Oh, okay.
I mean, fat soluble.
Soluble.
You can take it all at once. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because it's not going to pass out of the system with any regularity.
Yeah, because it's fat soluble.
Correct.
And not water soluble.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. I hope you guys got some good information from that. That'll help you if you're having thoughts about using a supplement for psoriasis. Next, what I want to get into is this. Have you ever tried any of this Apollo wearable technology, like a science-backed bracelet to reduce stress or anxiety or better sleep? There's a lot of talk about these new wearable technologies. I guess it does more than what Apple iWatch would do. But the funny thing is when I see this kind of stuff, I think nutrition already does this. There's already ways to look for it. And so what are some of the nutrients that have been shown to help manage stress, anxiety issues like this supposedly wearable technology does?
Well, there are several, of course. When we talk about stress management biochemically, the first thing that always comes to mind are the B complex nutrients.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind that you have two centers of stress. You have, well, actually three. You have the central nervous system, then you have the adrenal glands, and then you have, to a lesser extent, the thymus gland. And B12, B6, B1 feed the central nervous system quite nicely. When it comes to the adrenal glands, which are probably more important in stress management than even the nervous system, the king nutrient for adrenal support is pantothenic acid, which is one of the B complex nutrients.
Got it. And then what about the third one?
The thymus gland pretty much responds to immune support.
Oh, okay.
Because it
vitamin C.
Yeah, vitamin C, herbal extracts, and so forth. Because your immune system and your level of stress are linked.
Okay. And so doesn't those exact things we just talked about help focus and recovery too?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure, especially the B complex. But it's interesting about this wearable, all of this biomagnetics and everything that's coming out. And now I saw on the internet the other day somebody selling shoes that are grounded.
Yeah.
They have rivets put through them so that you're grounded to the earth, because most of our shoes are rubber or synthetic in some way, and basically keep us insulated. And we are the only species on Earth that is insulated from the earth.
Yeah.
All animals don't have that problem, obviously.
Yeah, I have that. Yesterday I had trouble. Every single electronic device I touched kept malfunctioning. So by the end of the day, I was physically just carrying around a rock in my hand before I touch any computers or anything. And after I started holding the rock, it worked fine.
It helps, yeah. What you might also try
just put your feet on the ground.
Well, yeah, but get a grounding mat.
Yeah.
And you plug it into the grounding port of your electric outlet, and you put your feet on it.
That seems to defeat the purpose, but yeah, I get it.
But you got to put your feet on it without shoes.
Yeah, barefoot.
Yeah, and it'll ground you out instantly.
Yeah.
And they have done studies where they've attached a voltmeter to somebody, and let's say they're registering 85 on the voltmeter, and as soon as they put that grounding mat on and put their feet on, it goes down to like 10 within seconds.
Yeah. How does stress cause inflammation in the body? Because that's kind of one of the things that this wearable technology is claiming, that it can reduce inflammation in the body caused by stress.
Absolutely.
But with nutrients, we've already been doing this.
Yes. But stress, inflammation is a response to all forms of stress. Physical, mental, emotional.
So everybody has it.
And everybody has it. And that is one of the big sources of inflammation, along with our diet, along with our environment, along with the chemicals in our environment. All of these things produce a stress response, which in turn produces inflammation. And inflammation, controlling inflammation, is vitally important. In fact, in the last couple of years, I've changed my viewpoint on inflammation support supplements.
Yeah.
I believe now that they should be an essential thing along with full spectrum nutrition, because inflammation is not escapable anymore.
Yeah, with the new way the world is, definitely. Next up, we want to hear from you if any of you have ever taken Wegovy or any of the weight loss drugs and had success. We would love to hear from you. And even if you've had some of the side effects, the list goes on and on. We don't need to discuss that here. But there are many drugs that tout health benefits beyond, obviously, what nutrition can and can't do. What do you think is missing in the discussion about what's missing in the discussion about Wegovy or Ozempic and these weight loss drugs that is missing? I would think it's something like the blood sugar support from Phoenix Nutritionals that can help curb cravings, that can help balance your blood sugar. Why do you think that is? Well, we know why that's not being discussed in that same conversation. But why do you think people don't go there first? Because they just don't know?
Well, that's part of it. But in order to answer your question, we have to look at human nature.
Yeah. Well, that's an easy one. We want it fast.
We want it now.
Yeah.
In fact, we're on such a fast-track pace with life. We wanted it yesterday.
Yeah.
And so anything that promises a result with minimal effort, if any, sign me up.
Yeah.
But before we get into more specifics, let's consider one basic principle. And it doesn't matter whether you're using one of these new designer drugs, whether you're using a fasting program, whether you're using a calorie-restricted program. The faster you lose weight, the faster you will gain it back.
Yeah. Well, for example, when you helped me figure out what I was carb intolerant. I am carb intolerant. And you helped me lose 60 pounds. It took 9 months. Was the first 3 months hell? Yeah. Was the first month completely living hell? Kind of mentally. I had withdrawals from the amount of carbs I was eating. But look here, 5-6 years later, I'm still maintaining 170 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to that. That's kind of what you're saying.
Exactly. See, we don't understand how the body works. When you lose weight too quickly, the body perceives that as starvation.
Yeah.
And it thinks to itself, gosh, if he keeps this up, I'll be dead in another 3 months.
Yeah.
So the body starts to change its chemistry. It slows its metabolism down to a crawl.
Yeah.
And what happens is, the end result of that is you plateau.
Yeah.
And I saw a terrible video the other day. It was on YouTube. And this particular individual, she was saying, well, it's easy to break a plateau. You just eat less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she said, for example, if you're on a 1,200 calorie diet, she said, just go down to 900.
Yeah.
She said, you'll lose weight.
Terrible advice.
And then she said, when it plateaus again, go down to 700.
Terrible advice.
Terrible advice, because now you're in a starvation mode and your body is going to continue to conserve energy, to slow itself down, and you will never, ever reach your weight loss goal.
Yeah. And if you do, you're going to gain it back.
Yes.
And that's what the
Sure,
problem
as soon as you start eating again, the body's going to go, it's time to celebrate. And it's going to take all of those calories in the form of energy, and it's going to fat store those.
Yeah.
Because it's going to prepare for the next time this idiot does the same thing.
Well, there you go on that one. Next up is ultra-processed food dangers. Now, we all know that ultra-processed food is bad, and we all see it in the news, and I don't know if you're watching this from another part of the country, but California is doing crazy things with it. I mean, they're pushing it even further, where we're about to ban Skittles, which is completely insane in my opinion. But hey, that They're really, thinking they're looking out for the good of the public. Why do we love ultra-processed foods so much, and why are they so addictive?
Why are they so addictive? I don't think there's anybody out there that can't agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I love Skittles.
Well, yeah. But there are several reasons for it. One, almost all highly processed foods contain, the majority of which are made up of carbohydrates, highly refined carbohydrates.
Yeah.
The more refined a carbohydrate
and
is,
refined sugars.
Yeah, which are also the ultimate carbohydrate. And so what happens is the faster a carbohydrate converts to blood sugar, the more it's going to bounce your blood sugar around.
Yeah.
So the blood sugar is going to go up when you eat that, and then because it's so highly refined, the body is going to remove that blood sugar, and it goes down, and pretty soon you're weak and confused, and you need another cookie or another cracker or another slice of white bread. And this is in part what makes them so addictive. Plus which, there is a brain connection. Glucose, which is the end product of all carbohydrates, but especially the speed by which refined carbohydrates can convert to glucose, changes the brain chemistry and actually creates a pseudo-addictive response. There are researchers who have claimed to have proven that refined carbohydrate addiction is as real and as serious and as difficult to break as heroin or cocaine or many of these other substances.
Well, I believe it, because you see it all over, and I've heard that metaphor a lot. So with obesity and type 2 diabetes and weight gain being some of the main dangers, how can nutrition help to repair the damage of people who have eaten ultra-processed foods in their life? Is there any way to kind of combat the damage that they've done to themselves?
Well, there's two areas where nutrition can be extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Number one is helping to curb cravings for those darn carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And
which is like a blood sugar support.
That's why I developed that formula.
Yeah.
Because for many years at our clinic, we have been helping people with what's called insulin resistance or syndrome X conditions, which include hypoglycemia, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, etc. And they're all driven by excess insulin production in the body. And so that formula was designed to help modulate the insulin response. So the because the cravings only occur because of excess insulin.
So that would be the first one. And then the next one would probably be something more to repair the free radical damage.
Yep, and that would be a good high potency antioxidant formula.
Yeah.
NAC comes to mind, although there are many of them.
Yeah. And then, of course, a good full spectrum liquid or capsule.
Yeah, always. Because keep in mind, when you're on a roller coaster of blood sugar, and you just can hardly wait till you get a hold of that donut, what do you think that's done to your body chemistry?
Yeah.
Screwed it all up. So anything we can do to help rebalance the synergy of the body chemistry is bound to help all by itself.